The night hung heavy over the small town of Ravenswood, casting long shadows that seemed to swallow the deserted streets. In the heart of the town lived Bobby, a young man with an insatiable curiosity and a penchant for adventure. One evening, as he sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, an ominous knock echoed through the silence. Bobby cautiously approached the door, his heart pounding in rhythm with each step. As he opened it, a mysterious figure stood in the doorway, obscured by the darkness. The stranger's voice, a low whisper that sent shivers down Bobby's spine, invited him to embark on a night drive, a journey into the unknown. Intrigued and fueled by a desire for something more, Bobby agreed. The stranger handed him a set of keys and pointed towards an old vintage car parked on the quiet street. The engine roared to life, its sound echoing through the stillness of the night. As Bobby settled into the driver's seat, the stranger provided him with vague directions, leading him through winding roads and desolate landscapes. The night seemed to grow darker with each passing mile, the isolation intensifying. Unbeknownst to Bobby, the night drive was about to unveil a series of chilling events that would test the limits of his courage. The road twisted and turned, leading Bobby to an abandoned mansion surrounded by an eerie mist. Reluctantly, he parked the car and stepped out into the chilly night air. The front door creaked open, as if welcoming him into the haunted history of the mansion. Inside, the air was thick with an unsettling silence broken only by the sound of his echoing footsteps. Bobby explored the dimly lit rooms, discovering relics of a bygone era. Antique furniture draped in dusty sheets, faded portraits with eyes that seemed to follow his every move. As he delved deeper into the mansion's secrets, Bobby stumbled upon a room veiled in darkness. The air in the room felt heavier, and an inexplicable sense of dread washed over him. Against his better judgment, he entered. In the center of the room, an old gramophone stood like a forgotten sentinel. The stranger's voice crackled through the speakers, revealing a chilling tale of a tragic love affair that ended in betrayal and death. The more Bobby listened, the more he felt the oppressive weight of the past closing in around him. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. Shadows seemed to dance with a life of their own, and Bobby caught fleeting glimpses of ghostly figures in the corners of his vision. Panic set in as he realized that the night drive was not a mere journey through physical landscapes, but a descent into the haunted recesses of his own fears. As the story unfolded, Bobby's connection to the tragic tale became apparent. The ghostly figures were manifestations of his own guilt and remorse. The night drive was a twisted journey of self-discovery, a confrontation with the shadows that lurked within his own soul. Dread washed over him like an icy wave as he grappled with the consequences of his actions. The mansion seemed to close in around him, its walls whispering the sins of the past. As Bobby stumbled back to the vintage car, he was left to wonder if the night drive was a twisted punishment or an opportunity for redemption. The road stretched out before him, winding into the unknown, and he had no choice but to continue the haunting journey that fate had set before him. With a heavy heart, Bobby resumed the night drive, the vintage car's headlights cutting through the inky darkness like a solitary beacon in the night. The winding road seemed to stretch endlessly, leading him deeper into the heart of his own inner turmoil. As the miles passed, Bobby couldn't escape the haunting echoes of the mansion's revelations. The weight of guilt pressed upon him, a relentless force that seemed to pull him into the abyss of his own conscience. He grappled with the shadows of his past, facing the consequences of choices made in moments of weakness and despair. The road eventually led Bobby to a desolate cemetery, where the tombstones stood like silent witnesses to the passage of time. The stranger's voice returned, guiding him to a particular grave, a name etched in weathered stone, a name Bobby recognized all too well. His breath caught in his throat as he realized the significance of the moment. The night drive was not a mere journey. It was a reckoning with the ghosts of his past. The grave belonged to the one he had wronged, the one whose tragic story had unfolded within the haunted walls of the mansion. With a sense of trepidation, Bobby approached the grave and fell to his knees. The weight of guilt and regret bore down on him as he whispered words of apology into the cold night air. As he spoke, the shadows seemed to retreat, and an otherworldly calm settled over the cemetery. In that moment of vulnerability, Bobby felt a presence, an ethereal acknowledgement of his remorse. The night drive had become a journey of redemption, an opportunity to confront the darkness within and seek forgiveness from the one he had betrayed. As he stood up, a profound sense of catharsis washed over him. The vintage car awaited, its engine purring with a newfound warmth. The road ahead seemed less daunting, and Bobby realized that the night drive had served its purpose, a purging of the past and a chance for redemption. With a determined resolve, he drove into the dawn, leaving the cemetery and the haunted mansion behind. The sun's first rays illuminated the road ahead, symbolizing a new beginning for Bobby, a chance to live a life unburdened by the shadows that had plagued him. The night drive had been a harrowing journey, but in its wake, Bobby emerged transformed. The road stretched out before him, a metaphor for the endless possibilities of redemption and self-discovery. As he drove into the light of a new day, Bobby carried the lessons of the night drive with him, forever changed by the haunting journey that had led him to confront his own demons. The only source of light was the dim glow of his car's headlights, casting long shadows that seemed to dance eerily on the trees lining the deserted highway. Sean, an adventurous soul with a penchant for the mysterious, had received an invitation earlier that day. The letter, slipped under his apartment door, was simple yet cryptic. "Join us for a night drive," it read, with a time and location. Intrigued by the mysterious sender, Sean decided to accept the invitation, despite a nagging feeling of unease that clung to him like a shadow. As he drove deeper into the night, the road seemed to stretch endlessly before him. The silence was broken only by the rhythmic hum of his engine and the occasional rustling of leaves in the wind. Sean couldn't shake off the sense that he was being watched, and every twist and turn of the road amplified his paranoia. Finally arriving at the designated location, Sean found himself in front of an old mansion, its crumbling facade barely visible in the faint glow of the moon. Hesitating for a moment, he decided to park his car and enter. The grand entrance creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway. A haunting melody echoed from somewhere deep within the mansion, drawing him further inside. As Sean explored the eerie mansion, he stumbled upon a group of strangers clad in dark cloaks, gathered in a dimly lit chamber. Their faces hidden, they welcomed him with a nod and handed him a vintage key. "The night drive awaits you," one of them whispered cryptically. With a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, Sean pocketed the key and followed the group to the mansion's garage. The air grew colder as he approached a collection of vintage cars, each more ominous than the last. The group dispersed, each choosing a vehicle. Sean, compelled by a strange force, unlocked a sinister-looking black sedan, its leather seats seemingly swallowing the dim light. The vintage sedan glided through the winding roads, enveloped by an impenetrable darkness. Sean's hands clenched the steering wheel as the haunting melody from the mansion echoed in his mind. The road ahead seemed to twist and turn without rhyme or reason, disorienting him as if the very fabric of reality were unraveling. His fellow travelers maintained an eerie silence, their faces hidden beneath hoods. Sean tried striking up a conversation, but the air remained thick with tension. As the miles passed, the surroundings morphed into a surreal landscape. Gnarled trees reached out like skeletal fingers, and shadows danced along the edges of the road. The vintage sedan pulled into a deserted town, frozen in time. Dilapidated buildings whispered untold stories, and an otherworldly fog draped the streets in an unsettling haze. The group parked their cars in front of an ancient-looking mansion, its windows shattered like broken memories. The strangers led Sean into the mansion, its interior seemingly untouched by the passage of time. Flickering candlelight revealed faded portraits on the walls, their eyes following Sean's every move. The group descended into a dimly lit cellar, where an ornate table held an assortment of peculiar items. A figure emerged from the shadows, draped in tattered robes. The leader, or so it seemed, beckoned Scene forward. With a voice that echoed through the cavernous space, the leader spoke of a dark ritual, a binding pact that transcended the realms of the living and the dead. Scene felt a cold shiver run down his spine as the group surrounded him, chanting words that seemed to blur the line between reality and nightmare. As the ritual reached its climax, the room pulsated with an otherworldly energy. Scene's surroundings blurred, and he found himself standing alone on the edge of a desolate cliff. The vintage Sidon waited, its doors ajar, inviting him to continue the night drive. The road stretched ahead, a labyrinthine path through realms unknown. Scene hesitated, torn between the familiar safety of his own reality and the allure of the mysterious journey. The vintage Sidon's engine purred, urging him forward, promising secrets and horrors untold. In the face of the unknown, Scene couldn't resist the call of the vintage Sidon. His footsteps echoed as he approached, the car's interior cloaked in an unsettling silence. With a deep breath, he slid into the driver's seat, the vintage key fitting snugly into the ignition. The engine roared to life, its sound resonating through the desolate landscape. As the Sidon navigated the winding roads, Scene's surroundings transformed once again. The air became heavier, and an otherworldly mist clung to the car's exterior. Strange apparitions flickered at the edge of his vision, their whispers entwining with the haunting melody that echoed through the Sidon speakers. The road led Scene to a forgotten graveyard, where tombstones stood like silent sentinels. The vintage Sidon parked in the midst of the eerie stillness, and Scene stepped out, his every footstep disturbing the ancient silence. The strangers from the mansion emerged, their hoods casting elongated shadows on the cracked tombstones. The leader raised a gnarled hand, gesturing toward a crypt with an air of reverence. Scene approached, the vintage key pulsating in his pocket. The crypt door groaned open, revealing a stairwell that descended into darkness. The strangers formed a procession behind him, their footsteps echoing with an otherworldly cadence. At the crypt's bottom, Scene found himself in a cavernous chamber, the air thick with a palpable energy. In the center, an ancient book lay open, its pages filled with symbols that seemed to dance and writhe. The leader handed Scene the vintage key, instructing him to place it within the book. As the key touched the ancient pages, the chamber trembled. Unearthly whispers filled the air, and a spectral figure materialized before them. It spoke of a pact, an ancient agreement that bound the living to the realm of the departed. Scene's eyes widened in realization. The night drive was more than a mere journey. It was a binding of fates, a merging of two worlds. The strangers began to chant, their voices merging with the ghostly incantations. Scene felt an unseen force enveloping him, intertwining his essence with the ethereal realm. The room pulsed with energy, and the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred. As the ritual reached its zenith, Scene's vision flickered, and he found himself back on the desolate road. The vintage Sidon idled beside him, its doors ajar. The strangers were gone, leaving only the echo of their haunting whispers. With a heavy heart, Scene slid into the driver's seat. The road stretched ahead, a tapestry of mysteries and shadows. The vintage Sidon beckoned him to continue the night drive, to explore realms unseen. As the engine roared to life, Scene embraced the unknown, his fate forever entwined with the secrets of the night. The vintage Sidon cruised through realms beyond imagination, the road twisting and turning like a serpent in the night. Scene, now bound by an otherworldly pact, felt a strange sense of liberation mingled with a growing unease. The scenery morphed into surreal landscapes. Forests of shadows, ethereal plains, and desolate cityscapes haunted by long-forgotten echoes. As the night drive continued, Scene's perception of time became distorted. Hours blurred into minutes, and the vintage Sidon traversed dimensions unknown. Whispers of the departed filled the air, their stories echoing through the emptiness of the spectral journey. The Sidon halted in a realm of perpetual twilight, the horizon bathed in hues of purple and indigo. A solitary figure approached, a spectral being with eyes that held the weight of ages. It spoke of the balance between the living and the dead, of the fragile threads that connected both realms. Sin, now a conduit between worlds, felt a surge of responsibility. The spectral figure bestowed upon him the knowledge to navigate the ethereal currents and maintain the delicate equilibrium. The vintage sedan, a vessel between realms, became a chariot of destiny under Sin's guidance. Through the abyss of the night, Sin traveled, encountering beings that existed beyond mortal comprehension. He became a keeper of forgotten tales, a wanderer in the space between life and death. Each journey unveiled new mysteries, and Sin's connection with the spectral realm deepened. Yet, the weight of his newfound responsibilities bore heavily on Sin's soul. The vintage sedan, once a symbol of adventure, now carried the burden of maintaining the cosmic harmony. The whispers of the departed, though hauntingly beautiful, became a constant reminder of the fragile balance he upheld. As the vintage sedan approached a crossroads in the spectral expanse, Sin faced a choice. The spectral figure appeared once more, its eyes reflecting the eternal dance between light and shadow. Sin could either embrace his role as a guardian of the night drive, or he could attempt to sever the mystical ties that bound him to the ethereal realm. In that moment of decision, the vintage sedan seemed to pulse with anticipation. The crossroads stretched before Sin, a convergence of destiny.